Phuket's hurting because of the lack of tourists. So I came to inspect and see how bad Phuket really is hurting. Oh my God, it's hurting so bad. I've never seen Patong look so beautiful. But yeah. Have a look here. This is what Patong was originally famous for. Once upon a time, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Of course, there was none of those constructions there, but the beach was approximately this color. So, still got jet skis if you want to do that, but I don't want to do no jet ski. Swimming area right here, the river tide right here. Swimming down there, no swimming down there. Alright, well, let's check out another beach here. So as far as the hurting Patong, I think they're referring to not the natural environment, but rather the economic environment. It's pretty much a ghost town. What is usually have droves of tourists just walking the streets, staying in the hotels, shopping and visiting the bars, which basically aren't here anymore. All the bars and everything there are here, but there's no tourists to fill them up. So there's the hotels, and so how that affects the natural environment is basically everyone's got to eat and they also got to shit. And so what happens when you get a flux of people in a certain area, they just shit, and it goes into the sewers and goes into the so-called water treatment plants. It gets dumped out of the ocean, and it's not so pretty. But well, there's a Phuket Patong bus. There's barely anybody on it. So.คนตอนนี้เป็นคนไทยนะส่วนมากครับ
ก่อนหน้านี้ไม่ได้ออกมาขายของตอนกับปิดแต่ว่าให้กักตัวไม่ให้ในช่วงปิดเกาะช่วงปิดเกาะนะ
แบบนี้น่าจองโรงแรมเลยนะถูกเลยนะ
ไม่มีคนสักคนเลยนะหา
So that fruit vendor was basically saying how quiet it's been, and that initially back in March, April was when the tourists stopped coming, and only recently, and this is September, October already, have people started to come out again, locals, to buy fruit and such. But still, it's very quiet. We're going down the main beach road here in Patong, which is called Tawiwong Road. And as you see the Patong sign on the side, on the left, and then on the right is basically the famous walking street Bangla. And we're actually going to go down it to show you. It's basically during the day it's completely dead quiet. Apparently at night now they've opened some of these bars, and there's some local tourists or local Thais who are trying to give it some life with whatever economic capital they have in order to retain it. But even a lot of these McDonald's and Subways on the main beach road were shut down, 24-hour McDonald's, and a lot of that has to do with basically not having the rent money, because some of the real estate is very, very inflated in a beach town like Patong, and it costs a lot of money to maintain any kind of shop if you don't own the land, and most people are these vendors who are renting this land. So yeah, very high price to pay to keep it open. So with the whole lockdown and zero tourists coming in, obviously nobody can really afford to keep their shop open until they figure out if tourists are going to be let back in there, and what type of tourists, and etc., which is all on the news right now. But yeah, as can be confirmed from this short visit to Patong, there is not much happening economically. And of course, you have all these retail shops and stuff, and they're all are dependent on these tourists, and not necessarily a good thing, you know, economically speaking, to have all your eggs in one basket, because as soon as something happens, you're vulnerable. That's true of any investment, really. You really want a diversified economy, to put it real simple here, for a place like Patong or any other tourist center. But yeah, this is a brand new shopping center that opened recently, right before Patong was shut down with this whole pandemic thing, right across from Junk Ceylon. But yeah. So when I say that there's no tourists coming in at all, that's not exactly correct. There's actually a big push right now for domestic tourism, because basically when I say no tourists, I mean the international foreign tourists, as international travel is very restricted at the moment. Quick shot of the boy here. So we're participating in that domestic tourism push, and we decided to come to one of the nicest beaches of all the island of Phuket, according to many. And access to this beach is possible through this 5-star property. And so for a good family day out, there's a lot of great deals around the island for hotels, and a day pass at this 5-star hotel, Le Meridian Hotel. And you have access to their pool. It's only 300 baht, or about $10, less than $10. And you could use that towards F&B at this property. So here we are heading down from the hotel's pool. I'm going to check out the private beach. Well, it's technically not a private beach, but the only access to this beach by land is through this private property. And the beach is actually known as Relax Beach, or its other name is Karon Noi. Hot Karon Noi, so like the little Karon Beach. It's just between Karon and Patong. So completely worth it to pay for the day pass at this hotel just to access the beach and the pool. And like I said, you can use that money towards F&B. And it's really cheap right now. So anybody in Thailand definitely should consider this. It's only about 10 bucks right now. Usually it would be like, you know, 50 bucks for a day pass. But only $10 now, 300 baht. Definitely worthwhile just for the beach and the pool itself is worthwhile. Or you can just come have a meal at their restaurant. It's another option. But otherwise, you know, the only way to access this beach without coming on their land is via boat. And so technically you could show up on a boat, and it's public access if you can get to it. So as mentioned now, yeah, a lot of these really nice places, 4-star, 5-star hotels, they're offering really great deals, whether for their day passes or F&B promotions, or just even to stay at their hotel. It's really cheap, like, you know, a very small fraction of what the normal prices would be. And they're just really trying to stimulate more domestic tourism and try to basically maintain some cash flow in order to continue on until things get better. So yeah, really good time if you're living in Thailand now and you've got a job or some extra cash to go around Thailand to one of these many beautiful 4-star and 5-star hotels. This is just one example that we happened to visit one day because a friend actually suggested it. We were just going to go to another beach near here. You know, there's several good beaches here, public beaches, but of course you'd end up, you know, you go to a beach with your family and you ended up needing to pay for, you know, restaurants or F&B near the beach anyway. And also, you know, you have the whole issue if you're playing in the ocean about, you know, showering and washing off with kids and changing. And so they have those options, and you usually have to pay a little bit extra, but it's not always convenient. But at like a beach club at this Le Meridian Beach Resort, for example, it's very convenient. They have changing rooms. You have, if you go and play in the beach, they have literally these faucets, these water faucets where you can wash off the sand from your feet before you go back, take a shower and jump in the pool. And it's much more convenient, and really 300 baht is nothing. I know I hear some of you out there like, oh, they shouldn't be charging, this is free access. Well, even if you could get to the beach free, you know, that doesn't mean you have free services to wash off and clean off and change. And so, yeah, really, to be honest, if you can afford it, why not? Plus, like I said, people are really hurting and they want to try to maintain some cash flow. So I don't think it's an issue at all to pay and enjoy yourself a little bit here and there. You know, I live in this country and I rarely ever get to experience the beauties. And there's people who, you know, would die and kill just to come out here and spend their money on a beach and relaxing, especially nowadays with all this COVID stuff. But anyway, yeah, really good eye-opener to see this natural beauty and enjoy it at the same contrast that many people are not enjoying their lives because they can't make ends meet. So it's a little bit of a crossroads we're at right now with this whole situation. But definitely, while I can and while you can, definitely enjoy what you've got. Taking advantage of the situation, because it's not every day that you get to see such beautiful wonders that you don't have to share with, you know, thousands of tourists. At the same time, realizing that there's a lot of people hurting from this whole situation. But that is just kind of like a crossroads, as I mentioned, for the entire society and economy about how the new normal, and I don't mean the new normal that everyone's spitting at on the TV, but the new normal for you and how you're going to adapt to it. And that doesn't mean you as a listener, it means the whole society. You know, there's a lot of reckoning to be made and a lot of thinking to be done about the direction of the immediate future, whether it's spoon-fed to you or not. Definitely you can't just stay still frozen, because if you don't adapt with the winds of change, you're just gonna be snapped with that wind. Well, to sum it all up right now, as I mentioned, you know, if you have the opportunity to go enjoy some of the natural beauty around you that you normally wouldn't get to experience because of high costs or because of high number of tourists, for example, a lot of people will choose not to go to where many tourists are, but now is the time to go enjoy that while you can, if you can, because the way the direction is going, of course, I get the argument, and we hear it a lot, that, you know, without this lockdown, the environment would never have a chance to recover, and that's true to an extent. However, it's not really clear where they're going with this, and it seems, according to the greater picture and some of the agenda items that they're pushing with this, as far as the agenda for the 21st century, for example, in the Wildlands Project, you know, we may not have the opportunity to access any of the nature in the future if they keep on going where they're going with this, and so that won't be necessarily a good thing. I'm definitely a proponent of responsible access and, you know, having integrity and accountability for, you know, environmental stewardship. But as far as having this big brother say that we're not allowed to access it because we're humans and we're evil and dirty type attitude, I'm not sure I'm down with that. But, you know, the way things are going, you never know. So point is, get out there and enjoy the nature and be responsible at that. And until next time.